सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Katha Upanishad 2:2-5. No mortal lives by prana or apana, but all live by something else, due to which these two find asylum, find refuge. The topic, as I say, is kind of important. Our worldview. What is a worldview? So the Sanskrit, before you can go to read the Sanskrit. Na pranena na panena martyo jivati kaschana itarena tu jivanti yasminnetavupashrito. It's a wonderful verse. There is, in the Bible, Christ says, man does not live by bread alone. No? Yeah. It's something, but this is the more kind of a philosophical or sophisticated way of saying, no person lives by the prana and the apana, the life breaths. As we have mentioned previously, there's one principle of life which in the body becomes divided into 5 functions. The principal one is called prana, rises up from the heart up here. The apana rises up, goes down from the heart down. And then we have udana, which takes us away from the body when the time comes. And samana spreads the heat of the body. There's a kind of the bodily kind of heat all over. And we have vyana. That vyana is also the digestive processes. The samana and vyana are both the digest. It takes what is put in the belly and spreads it out to all parts. So these are the functions of this one principle which, when it enters into the body, makes the body function. Yeah. In the external world, that one principle becomes, according to Swami Vivekananda, the strong and the weak electronic force, that is the strong force and the weak forces of atomic forces. Then we have electromagnetism, we have gravity, we have every type of force that you see in the external world is nothing but a kind of a subdivision of prana. Everything that moves, which has movement, and we know everything moves, everything is constantly in a state of vibration. This is prana. Here in the body also, everything constantly moves. Here, we are sitting there quietly, but the body is, breathing and pumping blood and the various processes right down to the biological cell. So busy, the things happening inside. So right down to the very smallest entity within us, the cell, there's activity, there's constant motion. Everything that has motion, has change, has vibration, whatever we say, is the result of prana. So when the Upanishad says, na pranena na apanena martya jivati. This mortal does not just live by prana and apana. All the forces that are within, working within us, as well as the forces within working outside. Because if the forces outside do not work, there are no forces at all. And these forces working outside in the external world keeps this universe alive. And these forces working within us keeps the body alive. Otherwise, in the dead body, there is no movement, there's nothing. What has happened? There is no life principle, that life force is not there. So, prana is not supposed to be just the breathing. Where people talk about pranayama, controlling the prana. Yes, you know what's controlling the prana means? It's controlling prana, controlling all the motion, the movement in the universe, which for you is an impossibility. But there is a method that if you can control the vibrations that are happening within your body through the instrumentality of the lungs, then you can get a grip on prana. However, that's a different subject. Here, what happens is we have a worldview. And the worldview is, this is the worldview. What we see. Matter. These people who see this world as it is, they are materialists. There's nothing more beyond this. Absolutely. Why should anything be present? We see this, and that's why in the old philosophers of India, one of the types of philosophers, were called the Charvakas. They were the materialists. They say, what we see, what we perceive through the senses is what exists. And this concept of soul and afterlife and karma and God, all this is, it won't hold water with us. It won't do. They preached this sort of materialism. And since they were from India, they were kind of very sophisticated thinkers. They brought their whole philosophy into philosophical language. Beautiful, and it was so attractive. Materialism. That was the old materialism. Doesn't matter. You have to live, everything dies with the body. You keep on working and keep on living. And if you have to take you can see, loan to even eat or something, take it. Run into that, doesn't matter. They preach this hedonistic idea of life, that everything is nothing but matter. But now, since we have been progressing slowly, we know that worldview is inadequate to the human spirit. We also are driven by ideologies. You see, most of us have some form of ideology. And ideology, what's that? Yeah, ideology. A materialist will say, okay, it's related to the brain. Okay, fine. So each one of us has an ideology. And we see this world through that actually glass. Now, if this ideology is nothing but matter, material, everything, your worldview will conform to that. Simple as that. Here, the Upanishad is bringing up an alternate worldview. Either you see this world as just matter and nothing but matter, made of material substances, everything begins, stays, and ends in matter. there is another spiritual worldview. How do we know this? There is spiritual worldview. Well, that's what the Upanishad is saying. If you have a spiritual worldview, you will see the world like that. The spiritual. This world does not appear to become just plain matter. This matter is enlivened by something called prana and apana. Like this matter, this if the body is the body, it is enlivened, energized by what? Prana and apana. The external world is energized by what? All these forces of nature, the strong and the weak force, and then we have electromagnetism, we have this and we have that, and so many kind of forces. These are the principal forces. Well, they are trying to tie all the four forces together, can bring a kind of a grand unified theory. They are succeeding, three they have, but gravity isn't becoming amenable to becoming coming within this. There are some theories now coming in. They're trying to bring all these forces and tie them up and show that they are manifestations of one force. However, this is clear. Matter needs to be energized. If it isn't, then it has no use. It has no meaning at all. So, the Upanishad says, if you just keep your worldview on this, I am a body, that's what you feel. And I breathe, and then one day when I stop breathing, I'll die. So, breath. My worldview of my body is this. And if my worldview of the body is this, the external world also will appear like this. So I put a green tinted glass, I see everything as green. I put a red tinted glass, I see everything as red. So how I view my body, how I feel my body, is how I see the world. That's how I project myself that way. I project ideas like this outside. Here, the Upanishads say, there is a higher order of existence. And now it is just kind of hinting it to us as saying, but all live by something else, due to which these two find refuge, asylum. So what are these two? Prana and apana. They have their roots, or they have their origins in something else. That's the idea, that beyond this body and beyond this prana, there is another higher entity. So, the moment do we recognize this, do we know this? When you see this vast universe, such an ancient universe, it just staggers us. When we say about 14 billion years old, this universe, it's just a kind of a word, just a kind of a thought here. We don't really know the implications of about 14 billion years. How vast this universe is. Amazingly vast. It doesn't hit us. It doesn't jolt us. It doesn't kind of make us jump out of ourselves. Whoa! What's that? No, nothing happens. Why? Oh, that's just there. We don't know the deeper implications of such a length of time. And that's why our worldview, though we understand this universe is mighty, it's vast, it's expanding, unimaginable, you just can't imagine. Why is it so? Because our worldview now is compressed only to me and my. If I am comfortable, if the surroundings are kind of safe for me, I'm fine with this world. Why should I bother about the huge thing there? Okay, that may be there. But for those who have dedicated themselves years and years and years as astronomers and astrophysicists and astrobiologists and astrochemists and everybody, for them, it is like a spiritual experience. Oh, wonderful. So similarly, when we think of ourselves, we think of ourselves, oh, just we have a body. Yeah, you feel the body, and something that energizes the body, which is prana. And we have something called a mind also. We are driven by ideologies. We have also heard that there is something called the jivatma, the soul. But we don't feel it. We hear the words, you have a soul, you are a soul, and it doesn't jolt us, it doesn't energize us, it doesn't kind of kickstart a whole new process of thought. It's like saying the universe is 13.8 billion years. How good enough. It's like you have a soul, you see? Oh yeah, good enough for me. It doesn't hit you. Why? Because our worldview hasn't changed yet. We have not been thinking ourselves as souls. We are still thinking of ourselves as the body and the prana. That is the greatest stumbling block. So once you change your glasses, all those green and red tints that you had, take the tints out and see the world as it is through these glasses, and oh, it looks different. It's the same thing seen differently. So here the Upanishad is saying there is something higher than matter, higher than prana and apana, higher than something which you consider yourself as a body. The body, I have a body. The body is mine. The body does not belong to you. It was given to you by the laws of nature, through your parents, whatever. There's nothing. It's not yours. This is my right. You have no rights. The only right we have is to get inside and understand what is in the body. Like the Upanishad says, in the city of 11 gates sits that Purusha, that soul. There. So this is the best place for us to go and change our worldview. Change a center of gravity. So this is, now if you say, many people, there are even some religious preachers also, who will say, you have not understood what is life. The life in all its variety. Yes, life in its variety is a tremendous fact. From the smallest to the largest, it's all part of one life. As I said, the tree of life. Yesterday we were talking about there was a synagogue, the tree of life. Where? In Canada. Yeah. Wow. There's a tree of life. And it's generally said that the tree of life. The tree of life. Yes. Everything is within the tree of life. Everything that has life is within the tree of life. And everything is one unit. So from the smallest to the largest, to the big blue whale, the mightiest, you can say, the biggest, you can say, living organism, to the elephant, to the humble bacteria. They are all within this tree of life. So it's a massive fact, really massive fact. Yeah, if you can understand that even you are a part of that tree of life, it makes you a little more unselfish and caring and loving and compassionate towards all forms of life. You will not go and kill everything around. Yeah, kill. So anything is hurt, you will feel that hurt. Yes, this is a massive fact of life. Huge tree. But they make that into the ultimate. This is the ultimate. Yeah. Evolution and involution and this and that. But if this prana, this light force, was a conscious entity, then even when we go to sleep, we would have been conscious. When we go to sleep, what happens? We go to sleep, the body is there, the, the life processes are going on, the body is alive, but there is no consciousness. Are you conscious? No. Are you conscious of your body? Then you will not be able to fall asleep. If you fall asleep, you lose consciousness of the body. So there is something behind this body and behind this vital force, what is prana. And even there is something beyond the mind. This is what the Upanishad is trying to explain. If these were conscious ultimate entities, life or matter or mind even, we would have been conscious all the time. But it isn't. There's this entity is beyond. So, itarena tu jivanti. But all live by something else, due to which these two find refuge, asylum. So they are embedded into something greater, larger, more massive, more internal, more subtle, more luminous, more conscious. What is that? That is a Purusha. There, the size of a thumb, there is seated in the cave of your heart. That is that Purusha. So this is the Purusha. As you have seen, everything, all the sense organs and everything, they bring their entire, you can say, offerings to that entity which is inside. And this is how we need to interpret the next one is 2:6. Well, O Gautama, I shall tell you of the secret eternal Brahman, and also how the self, the Atman, fares after death. There are two things he is promising. One is, well, O Gautama. Who's Gautama? That's Nachiketa's family name. His father also was called Gautama. So, Audhaliki Gautama Aruni. So, here we have, that's a family, the name of that family lineage. So, he's calling, with deference, he's calling Yama, the god of death, is calling Nachiketa as Gautama. Oh Gautama, I shall tell you of the secret eternal Brahman. There, But he's been telling you us about all these things, this secret eternal Brahman, which is now no more secret. In the old days it was. Why is it called secret? Well, it's secret because there is something called the literature of the Upanishads. It's a book. Okay. But the real meaning of the word Upanishad is not a book. It is the teachings. And another name for the Upanishad is secret teachings. The Upanishads are called sacred teaching. Why secret? Secret because it's sacred. It has not to be kind of given to somebody, and that somebody will neglect it or misuse it. That person, what he receives, he or she, whatever receives, has been given something sacred. And like you're told not to tell a mantra to others, it's a secret. Why secret? I can go and tell everybody. No, you don't go and tell everybody. It's a secret. Because it's sacred. It is in a way your very core, your inner being. If you want to find out about yourself, do you want to find out about yourself? You want to find about God? Yes, everybody is. Everybody. I want to know myself. I want to know about God. Well, that has been given. That formula has been given to you. What's that formula? Where? I don't know. That mantra. Oh, many people. Oh, really? Yes. That formula to discover what you are, what God is, what this universe is, has been given to you. You have not been working out that formula. You kept it in. You kept it and you've forgotten about it. Now, who's to be blamed? That's why it's kind of secret. This is the secret that's been given to you by your guru. What are you doing about it? Nothing. I never did anything. I got it. But that getting it, the guru does not give it to you and say, okay, you don't have to do anything. He has told you, do something. Do something about it. Yeah. That's why it's secret. That eternal Brahman, that secret eternal, I will tell you, I shall tell you of this. Hanta te ta idam pravakshami guhyam brahma sanatanam yata cha maranam prapya atma bhavati gautama. Hanta, it's like, no, now I'll tell ta, idam, this, pravakshami, I will tell you. What? Guhyam, the secret. See, what? Brahma Sanatan, that eternal Brahman. I will tell you this. So why? So that you will become liberated. Now the second line of the verse, the second part of the verse is, in case you don't become liberated. That's not a fault of the teachings or whatever causes. So, yatacha maranam prapya, when the person dies, what becomes of him? And also how the self fares after death. You know, Nachiketa had asked, what's the secret of death? There are some people who say when this person dies, nothing remains. That's that old materialistic worldview. And there's another thing, that if you die, something remains. You travel up and down. However, so here he says, because now why did he ask about death? Well, because Nachiketa, that is because Yama, who is the god of death? He is the god of death. Huh. So you go to ask the god of death about death, isn't it? You don't go to him to ask about rain and sunshine. There are those other gods there looking after that business, that side of the business. This guy is looking after this side of the business. So he's saying better to ask him about that. So, and then that was the original question, and the Upanishad has been answering this question from different levels, mainly from the spiritual or the metaphysical, you can say, level. And at times it's coming down to the ordinary level, that what we know, this is the body, but we don't know what happens after this. So here he says, I shall tell you of this secret eternal Brahman there. For those who are competent, those who know, and for those who do not attain it, who do not, or ignorant of it, what happens after death? I'll tell you about it. So, the commentator Shankaracharya says, through the knowledge of which comes about a cessation of all worldly existence. In the first line of the verses, I'll tell you about the secret Brahman. And through the ignorance of which, through ignorance, there is differentiated into two: a person of knowledge and a person of non-knowledge. The person of knowledge will attain that eternal Brahman, and the person of non-knowledge will attain something called a rebirth, another chance. So there, all the religions, almost all the religions, they speak about the post-death existence of oneself. After you die, you will live forever and ever somewhere, in heaven or wherever. Well, if you're going to exist after you die, so we push the, in Vedanta, they push the logic aside, that, well, you start from zero and then suddenly you reach infinity. Something kind of does not match this kind of logic. So if you are going to live forever afterwards, you must have been present even before. So the pre-existence of a soul, not only the post-existence. So we have this. Yesterday we were reading it. The old Greeks knew it. The old Celts knew it. The old world, they all knew this reincarnation of the soul. However, to come back there, because it's a vast, very vast subject. What happens when a person dies? As simple as that. I'll tell you, he's saying. Well, that's good enough. No. The person who knows, who has become enlightened, that person knows what the person does. The person knows that eternal Brahman. So here, the next verse is 2:7. Some souls enter the womb for acquiring bodies, and others follow the motionless in accordance with their work and in conformity with their knowledge. You come and you go with a bag full of knowledge. What you bring in, okay, you start filling up that bag a little more, and then you go along with that bag. Yonim manye prapadyante sharirattvaya dehina sthanum manye nusanyanti yata karma yatha shrutam. Yata karma, like is your karma and like is your knowledge, shrutam. Your future course, and not only the future course, your present course also is dictated by your karma and your knowledge. And not only that, your birth also depends on your karma and on your knowledge. So God is not responsible at all, huh? No. Why should God be responsible for these small things? You have done certain things, you're reaping. As you sow, so shall you reap. It's a universal law. Everybody, most religions acknowledge and know this. Be careful, don't do this, or you will reap what you sow. But they limit it to this kind of a small bandwidth of things. Yeah, few years, a lifetime probably. What Vedanta did was stretch the whole thing. As you sow, so shall you reap. And as you sow, what do you sow? Thoughts and words and deeds. Everything. Whatever you have done, it's like a boomerang. You throw it, it'll fly and come back to you. It's coming back to you. So, because why? Everything in this universe is moves in a circle. And especially the law of karma. You set something in motion, it will traverse the universe and return to you. You say something nice to somebody, it will traverse the universe, pick up all the nice vibrations in the universe, and come back to you more powerful. If you do something bad, it will also circuit the universe, pick up all the bad vibrations in this universe, and come back to you even more. So you started off throwing one pebble on somebody, and when it comes back to you, you might find one big boulder falling down on you. What happened? So this is the law of transmigration of a soul. When the soul is in the state of bondage, when the soul is in the state of ignorance, that soul gets another chance, and another chance, and another chance, and another chance, and another chance. Keeps on and on and on and on. In the process, what happens? We are evolving. Matter evolves, life evolves, soul evolves. Soul cannot evolve. Soul is a part of God. But the veil that covers the soul's real powers becomes thinner and thinner and thinner, gets more and more translucent. And when finally the soul can rip that veil of nature, what binds the soul to this world is karma. Simple as that. We will stop here. We will take this up because it's a vast subject. because it deals with the reincarnation. And if I just kind of gloss over it just slightly and move, people won't be very happy because they want to know. So next Wednesday, we take this up again. That's what we've been doing. We also have this evening the gospel, which 7:30, which I will be giving. Tomorrow is the Bhagavad Gita class, which once again I will be giving. So stay tuned. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.